Good afternoon, everyone. It is November 30th, 2022. We have just finished our end of the month session with quite an amazing ripper. Let's just get rid of everything on the screen, and you can see we rallied. This is just a 30-minute chart. This was a huge zone we had that we were trading within since November 10th, and we just ripped right through it upon Powell talking about rates or this or that. But we have moved up right around 140 points just in the latter half of the day, just in that final 2.5 hours. Uh, and with that, we are now exploring some ranges that we have not been able to explore for the past couple of weeks. This is going to be an outlook for the month coming, and we're looking at some really high time frame profiles and structural levels, just in terms of what we've had this month. And let's just move this now for December 1st. We have rallied almost perfectly to the year-to-date VWAP. That's what this line is, this squiggly line. That is sitting at 87 quarter or so, 87 half, something like that. We have rallied almost perfectly to it during the RTH session. Globex is open, and yeah, you can see we are using it as support now. We pushed perfectly off of that 86 half number for the full Globex sessional VWAP for year to date. So that will be an interesting number moving forward. Uh, for the month, we do have November value area low sitting at 41 half. So in the occasion where we do end up losing kind of this 39.13 area, it won't take too much lower to get us outside of November's value and really start flushing lower. Until then, though, it's hard not to be quite bullish above 4,000. To me, in an ideal scenario, of course, would like to see 30 to 45 held by the bulls. Just kind of the highs of the last couple weeks, as well as up to November value area high or value area high for the month just finished. But in reality, I think this thing could come down 4,000, 4,017, and still be totally fine and continue marching upwards. We do have a ton of high time frame structure up here. September value area high matching the September high at 37s. October half 41, Q3 value area high 43, year to date half back 55 quarter. This is the main number that I'm watching. Even further up in the first half of the year's value area high at 41.87, and then some more important numbers over here. First half of the year's half back at 23, August value area high. In general, once you start getting above this 41, 4,200 area, I think you start really playing around with the idea of potentially 4,400s. So instead of looking at this somewhat ugly chart, what does this look like on a little bit simpler of a chart? Let me pull that up for you guys. Let's drag that in. And wow, here we go. We can ignore this line. I was just, all I was looking at here was how our how the momentum has been to holding the downside, and you can see held it there, did not even tap it there. So that's all I'm using this trend line for, is just seeing the momentum overall. Quarterly VWAP sitting way down here at the 3,800 still, and the second half of the year's VWAP sitting at 3897. So again, quite far down. All these circles are representing our targets that I have for the bulls and bears. To the upside, I want to see 41.55 quarter finally get tagged. It's just our second half, or sorry, it's just the halfback on the year, 41.55 quarter. Above that, 4,300 ish is just the swing high from August that we made. Um, these are just targets for me, and I haven't bothered messing around with even further up, but 4,376 roughly would be the next spot up. That should be level 4. Um, so that is what I'm looking for. To the downside, I think if we are able to get to this 39.13, kind of the lows of this balance area, if we're able to get into here, I think it flushes. You lose this momentum trend line. You get back below that second half of the year's VWAP. You get into the quarterly VWAP and into the CPI gap. I think that's what you end up getting instead of the idea that we hold around here again and then move up. I think that's unlikely. I think what instead ends up happening is if you visit even these 40s again, I think you end up crapping out to the lows. Quite honestly, if I wanted to make an aggressive call, I would say getting below about 4,000, and you might be looking at that crap out scenario. But I think 62, 45, 13. I think that's a little bit more of a sure thing. So I'll stick with that. Um, that's all I really have for the month. Obviously, we have Christmas and Hanukkah and whatever else happening towards the end of the month, mid-month, end of month, where things will likely get quieter. I know last year we had an excellent rally. I was a part of that. I got some calls and flew to New York and woke up in front of the NYSE and saw the calls printing money. That was fun. But I think we're in for a little bit of a quieter end of year, and we might just end up churning in this upper zone the way I see it. I don't know if we'll have enough juice to really get into the 4400s, and I'm not sure if the market really can justify getting up that high. So instead, what I'll look for is likely some churn in this area as we get in towards the end of the year, as we get in towards a more an environment where the big money is not really, the big money doesn't really want to take many risks going into the end of the year. No one really wants to ruin any sort of good track record they might have had. That's all I have for you guys. So to the downside, I'm watching 39.62 and really 4,000 to get an idea of bearish momentum. And to the upside, I'm watching 55 quarter to see if that can get tagged and to see if we can get above this yearly VWAP right where we closed. That's all I have for you guys. I'll put out a daily plan for tomorrow later today. Other than that, that's all. Trade safe, you guys.